From Studio A at the USC Annenberg School, I'm Jas Kang, joined by a man today who's helped with the renaissance of the USC football program, Director of Recruiting for the Trojans, Alex Rios. Alex, thanks for coming in today.
Thanks so much for having me. Really appreciate it.
So, interesting story for you. You actually graduated from USC back in 2013 with a degree in communications. During your junior and senior years, you ended up being the student manager with the football team. How did you work your way up from there to where you are today?
You know, great question. So essentially when I've been here, we've had about 5 head coaches that I've worked for. When Coach O became the interim head coach in 2013, I was his manager on the field. So when he got promoted to the head coach position right there in that interim role, I basically started working my way up into the front office, doing kind of errands here and there. And then eventually when Coach Sark comes in, I literally just waited outside of his office for about 3 hours and said, "Hey, Coach, this is who I am. This is what I can do for you. This is what I know. I love this school more than anything in the world. I can help you out." And he says, "Well, listen, I don't have anything for you, but why don't you talk to our recruiting coordinator, see if he has something for you." He gives me a list of the top 100 linebackers in the country and says, "Hey, go look at them, tell me what you think." And I never stopped. And so from that role, from as a recruiting analyst and recruiting intern, I became the director of scouting, director of player personnel, and now the director of recruiting for the football team.
Now, seems like it's recruiter is pretty much a year-round job. What does a typical day look like for you?
So typical work day is me checking social media. We use Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, all to find out what our recruits are doing. We're trying to keep up with all the different mediums and trying to help the coaches figure out what even Snapchat is. We're checking out emails to see any guys that have come across our ways, looking and evaluating guys not only from a personal standpoint, but their actual film. How are they playing? How are they developing? Workout videos to pick which recruits we want and which recruits we want to have go other places.
Now, ultimately, there's over 14,000 players across the nation in terms of high school football players. What do you, the coaching staff, and everybody else there kind of who's involved with the recruitment process, look for in a player that you say, wow, you know what, we want that guy to be a Trojan?
Well, first of all, the guy's got to be good enough. The guy's got to be good enough on the field. Eric Ziskin, our director of player personnel, does a great job of making sure that all of the players are, at our level or even better, to make sure that we can get all those guys. From there, he says, "Hey, Rios, go get this guy, this guy, and if we go out to wherever that is, Florida, Georgia, Texas, make sure we're getting those first-round draft picks." And so what we like to do is we want to find the guys that are not only really good on the field, but really good people. And that's what the Coach Helton really wants. And that's what I think this makes this USC brand and this USC team so special, is because Coach Helton is at the helm, and we are following his philosophy of recruiting not only great players, but great people and great families and bringing them into the Trojan family.
Now, when you're setting up a visit for the recruits, what does that typically look like for you heading into a weekend?
So, I don't really know when the recruits are coming up until, seriously, almost the day or week of. So I always like to say I'm a party planner that does everything last minute, that has everything booked in between for 50 people to 150 people. And so we already have reservations all over LA for those dates that we have after the season, to make sure that all of our players are going to be unbelievable, all going to be treated to this unbelievable experience here at USC, showing them not only the downtown skyline and all the cool things to do over there, but make sure we get them to the beach, get them to Rodeo Drive, to make sure that they get to see the whole LA experience and not just stuck in just the USC bubble, because USC is the best place to recruit in the country, I believe, and might as well show them the world while we can.
Well, being here from Vancouver, I can attest to that. LA is an amazing city. I've definitely enjoyed it so far. One question for you, I definitely want to touch on Sam Darnold. He's been a big part in the team becoming a national powerhouse again, could be in the Final Four for the national championship. What was the recruitment process like with him?
Sam, I always like to say, is the best recruiting story on earth. We actually had a quote 5-star quarterback committed to us at the time, and so Sam Darnold comes to camp, and we weren't really looking to get another quarterback, but he comes to camp. He already had a couple good Pac-12 offers here and there, and literally blows our socks off. Really does an unbelievable job. Everything that you see on TV now and all those crazy throws that he makes, he was doing that at the camp and blew every one of our coaches away and said, we all said, almost in unison, we need to get this guy here at USC. Long story short, he comes and commits within a week. And so have two quarterbacks that we signed in that class is almost unheard of now because only one quarterback obviously plays. Sam wasn't afraid of competition. He knew he was better than not only our guy that we signed, but the guys in front of him, and wanted to compete for a starting role, and ultimately earned that last year when we won the Rose Bowl. But now, is obviously leading our team to hopefully the promised land this year as well.
Now, when you look at his game overall, projection is if he does decide to declare for the draft next year, he could be a top 5 pick. Some people are even saying number 1 overall. What do you think about his game will make him successful at the NFL level?
I can't recommend Sam Darnold enough. The guy is everything you want in a quarterback. The one thing that stands out in my mind is his leadership, command, and his poise. So I guess that's 3 things. But, if you ever see him during a game, no matter how up or down we are, he's always right there. He's getting all the guys going, hey, let's get this drive together, one at a time, and then coming back on wins, especially this year against Utah. In almost every game, we've always almost come from behind and got that victory because Sam Darnold's leadership. And, Sam Darnold really comes in and makes sure that, all of us here we're okay. No, we're never out of any games. We're going to be dominating games, and in the close games, we want the ball in Sam Darnold's hand because we know something special is going to happen. We know we're going to win the game.
Well, big one coming up this weekend against Notre Dame as well. I will say this, for Trojans fans, they can be confident that the program's in good hands, especially with guys like you being a part of it. Director of Trojans football recruiting, Alex Rios, thanks for coming in today.
Thank you so much. Really appreciate it.
That's all the time we have for today. From Studio A at the USC Annenberg School, I'm Jas Kang, and we'll see you next time.
Fight on, baby.